Yeah, the Portent, that was, again, was like having the card not used when it was originally done was a bummer, but it becoming the art becoming the new Portent card was amazing. So I mean, at the end, it was a huge success because if the card art had been used on the card it was originally designed for, it would have been lost. It would have been it would have come and gone, and people would have. There may have been some intention to it, but it's a card that's been out for a long time. It's had a lot of different art, and I just would have been the most recent art, and then at some point it would have been reskinned again, and I would have been forgotten. But the Portent had been out since Ice Age, and now it's finally out again, and I got to replace the art, and that was huge. And that was the first artist proof that sold out almost immediately. Should have charged more. If it's ever reprinted, those are going to be more expensive, and I'm waiting for it to get reprinted any day now, folks. Let's reprint that Portent. But I mentioned, I'm always the artist. I'm always the reference for everything that I do. But for the Portent, we found this amazing glass orb at the art store that and I did a lot of different effects with it. I put lights behind it. I put colored gels behind it to kind of see what the light will do with a glass sphere. And I needed photos of it being held. But it was a small globe. I have very big hands, and the gloves we had available only fit my wife. So that's the one card where she's the reference for. So those are my wife's hands wearing gloves, holding the glass orb. And I did, tons of photos and different lighting sequences. We're out in the yard at dusk. We're out in the yard during bright light, and I'm putting lights behind it, lights on top of it, kind of looking at what it does. I would get iridescent plastic and crumple it up and put lights behind it and photograph that to see kind of like so just starting points for new takes on magic. Like what are ways to make swirling colors and magic look like something new? And so I did all these different photos of different materials with being lit from behind and lit in front of, in a dark room, in a light room. So I have tons and tons of all these ridiculous photos that I was able to pick and choose from to get kind of the swirly effect of all of the magic and the energy inside. And then I did all kinds of designs for the glass with metal filigree and like pieces separating and moving apart. Because if you look at the card now, there's a whole section at the top that's not attached. It's actually hovering, and the smoke's coming out and the magic's coming out. And so I did all that. And it was kind of a bummer when the card didn't come out, because I was like, it's probably one of the cards, it is the card that I put the most research and work in before I ever started working. I had put the most work into that card, and the background, you only see a little bit of like grass, and that was just some cool weeds I saw one day when we were running an errand, and I stopped, and my wife had to run into a store to get something, and I looked down at the median, and there was just all these really nice little leaves, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I took a photo, and those leaf shapes or leaves and the little bit of the background that you can see. And so, there's all these moments in my life that go into these pieces of work. They just don't materialize. It's, I live with them for a while, and I have to come up with ideas. So with all of the work, there's a lot of my life and just living that go into those pieces. Little bits here and there are just little snapshots to mark my existence on this planet, and then the final work. But that's the layers of story that I will be writing about in my next book, of how you'll see something, but it's all of the backstory of all of the steps and all of the different things that came together for that to exist. So I find that very interesting. That's me, but that's the Portent. There's all these different moments in my life that came together, and then were put on hold for 5 years, and then got to be released into a better situation than it ever would have been. So
that's awesome. Did it make it more gratifying that the card ended up being one that you played with, and that time where you were playing?
Oh yeah, because that's the first time I have any connection to my time on Magic. You know, that is the first time that I'm like, something I knew, something that I had, I've now linked back to that. I've now gone full circle. A card I've had in my hand as a player with never even imagining I could be an artist in the game. I've gotten to the point where now I'm an artist in the game, and I've made art that went on a card that I owned. So yeah, that's the Portent is a full circle moment for me, and will always be a very important piece of my career. Even though it has no monsters, even though it's not a self-portrait, it checks a lot of boxes, and it was the right place at the right time for the right card for the right memories. Yeah, and it just kind of all came together with that one.